Hey, welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. Chuck here. We got a list of we have 9 properties today. So if you want to come to the buyer class, the link is just over there. And so we're going to start off today with 1379 Costigan number 408. It's at 309, 2 bedroom, 2 washroom, faces green space off the balcony. Nice finishes inside, granite countertops. You've got your backsplash done, darker cabinets. 9-foot ceilings. There's a lot of light in these suites. There's so much that I like about them. And when this one came out, I thought, wow, this is an amazing deal. Especially there was one on the first floor that sold for somewhere between 310 and 320. So I'm amazed that this one is still out. I think it's a really golden opportunity for somebody. Let me just go past the pictures here. So that's what you see right off the balcony. I love the connection to green space. It feels open. It doesn't feel like it's congested in downtown or a bunch of buildings. And the fees are reasonable. It's $304.52. So compared to 100 mil side, similar suites, probably somewhere around $600-700 on fees. So very, very nice. And there's 2 parking spots. I cannot endorse that one enough. I think it's a great space, and it's somewhat big enough that somebody downsizing would not feel tremendously claustrophobic. Around 1,000 square feet, a little bit more. So Nadlin Heights 329. There's 2 for sale right now, and the last few sales have been between like 300 to 312. At 329, there's no photos. I can pretty much guarantee that they're not going to get anywhere near 329. The highest sale in the last couple months was just over 320, and it was really nice. And we're just not seeing that in the most recent sales. So they're on a bit of a low tide for those types of homes. It's the same with this model here. The village towns tend to go through a high tide, low tide. So Faro Point is 352. It's the Woodbine. It's 1356 square feet. And this is what I would consider to be the high tide price. And I know they're putting it at 352.9. I would guess so that they'd land at 350 on a negotiation. I just don't think right now that somebody's going to offer them 350. It just seems like there's not that activity. Has that model sold for over 350? Yeah, a handful of times it has. But I don't think that with the finishes and the upgrades, the carpet and so on that they have, that I would ever expect that. So Mark Street is 389. It's 1130 square feet. There's 1 full bathroom upstairs, and it's nice inside. The finished basement helps. Here's the thing that's going on right now. There's almost nothing for sale right now between 350 and 400. Very low supply, and it's typically a very high demand type of price range. So I have a feeling that these guys are going to do quite well. I don't believe that this price is reflective of the value, at least from what we've seen selling even in the last 2 or 3 months. So we'll see what happens. I have a feeling what's going to happen is these guys are going to sell for a very respectable number just because of the lack of inventory. So Farrington Crossing, 419.9, and so we're a townhouse for 3 bedrooms. I'm not sure if it's an end unit. It's okay. Like, it doesn't really have a lot of zip to it. It's about 1,800 square feet at 419. I don't know if I love it as a deal, but yeah, I would just say I would say that there's some stuff that I've seen, even Mattamy floor plans for a similar price range, similar size, that I would be tempted to go in that direction instead of that one. So Cusick is 587.9, Albion Bay model. And so it's interesting because this model, the main floor, it doesn't feel like a builder's home. It almost feels like something you'd see old school, like from the 40s. It's hard to explain. Just the way it's laid out, the staircase right in the middle, and then you've got 4 bedrooms upstairs, and they're all pretty good sized rooms. It really opens up. It's probably, I think the floor plan on this is somewhere around 2,200 square feet. We have seen this model sell up in this price range. I think they were in slightly better market conditions, and they had a little bit more upgrading than this one. So 587.9 is not completely off the mark, but I think it's a little high. So 8th line is 1.8, 150 by 271. Nice looking home. Absolutely beautiful house. And it doesn't actually say the lot size. 150 by 271 is generally about an acre. The home itself, we don't know how big it is. I mean, certainly the quality's there. It looks like a pretty impressive looking home. Very symmetrical, I guess you could say, which is something we just don't see in a lot of homes. 5 car parking in the garage, 6 bedrooms, so it's obviously pretty big. The thing about that area, though, I mean, if you look, this is the ROPA map, and I can put a link to this at the bottom in the paragraph below the video. But where it is, so this is 8th line right here. So above Steeles, and then you have the break for Steeles. Trafalgar comes over. So this is 8th line right here, and so closer to Britannia. So all of the purple is rural residential. There's train tracks right here. There's the 407. And then you've got employment land right here. You've got the proposed GO station not far away. So you know that there's going to be homes here. So my concern would be is that this home, if it's on this side of the street, that it may just be surrounded by a little more activity than what someone's comfortable with. The serene, tranquil country style living may be interrupted by a lot of action around it. However, it's very close to the Mississauga border, and you can't find a home like that, at least as far as I can see, anywhere on the other side of 9th line. So it might fill a nice little niche if this ends up becoming kind of a fancy little area right there. But I'd be concerned with how close it is to tracks plus the 407. So anyways, we just reviewed the 7 from the Toronto board. We've got 2 more from the Oakville Milton board. And so the next one is on 7th Concession, which is basically like Center Road. There's some train tracks not far from here, but kind of halfway. It's closer to Carlisle, but it's sort of north of Waterdown, that kind of stuff. 18 acres. You've got geothermal heat on this one. It looks like it's nestled in. There's some parts of this land that are used for crop. The valuation on that is something that's a little bit more complex, and it's not something we'd really go over on a Milton Daily Homes episode. It's okay. It looks a little bit dated to me. It does look like it's been cared for well. Certainly nice rolling land and a mix of trees. The price for me, if they got it, it would definitely be because of things like outbuildings, the land, maybe some of the structural improvements. From the size of the house, I don't know if it's, and even the condition of the house, I don't know if I would see the value just in looking at that. And then the last one is this one on Pringle, which is at 494.9. It's a Pinehurst model, 1816 square feet. So you've got a front room here that's separate from the rest of the house, very handy for home office or kids' playroom or something like that. Kind of similar to the Plan 4 that we talked about yesterday, but this one has the bonus of having a finished basement. So this one's kind of kicking that Plan 4 in the teeth. Main floor is very similar with a little bit more wall. So I find sometimes the walls here, so if you can't see this, I think there's another picture. So there's a half wall here, and then there's 2 doorways, and it's like, did you really need to? Like, can't you put a beam, open it up? The kitchen is very open concept, granite counters. They got the green apples, which if you've watched Milton Daily Homes, we haven't talked about it recently, but in the past we used to always say that's the magic weapon. There's your front room there, which makes for a great home office. Hardwood on the second floor, which doesn't have the same return as hardwood on the main floor. You've got your ensuite, and then you have 3 bedrooms upstairs. I believe this model comes in a 4, but the 3 just feels a bit better. And then you've got your basement. Nice size windows. So the house is a little bit higher up, but it's the advantage of that is that you just get a little bit more natural light in your basement. So it's a good looking home, and you can see the elevation there. You sometimes don't feel like it's as private because you're almost looking down on the neighbor, and you can just see more of their house depending on what elevation they are in the back. So it's a good area. There's a neighborhood park just over here, school being planned, and lots of good stuff. So I do like this home. I like where they priced it. I think that with the finished basement, they offer a competitive advantage that you're not seeing with most of the other homes. Move-in ready and fully finished. The only thing about that, though, if you think about it, when you move into this home, what can you do to add value? There's not a whole lot. Like, you basically move in and enjoy, and you don't have a chance to really fix it up, make it better, maybe make some return on your investment for some of the renovations done. So that's the list for today. And what I'll do is, the last thing is I'm going to send out, I got a great community profile, a big study done on Milton and anything from population to income and all this other stuff. So if you're doing research on Milton, it's an amazing resource. It's almost too much information, but I'm going to make sure that you get a link to that too. So have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.